trapped inside.
And we have one young lady that has a head wound. The Ferrisburg monitor, stand by for an assist at Spring Lake at the Old Holiday Inn. Have subjects trapped in our collapsed roof.
17.3 en route to Holiday Inn.
Well, even more startling than the damage caused by the wild winds is the price tag attached to cleaning up the mess.
Here's a look now at the preliminary costs county by county. Kent County is reporting $60 million in damage. Ottawa County estimates $4 million just for public property.
And moving on to Muskegon County, the figure stands at a little more than $24 million. Ionia County, $10 million. Montcalm County, $14 million. Now that brings our preliminary grand total to $112 million. And that number will rise as figures for debris cleanup and agricultural losses finally come in.
We should also mention that Allegan County lucked out. Damage there was not as severe and was not reported to emergency services. Some of the worst damage happened along the lakeshore in Spring Lake.
Now, people living in a condominium complex were awakened as their homes literally started falling apart. Our Sharon North was the first reporter on the scene. She joins us now with a look back. Sharon?
Lee and Juliet, of course, Mill Point condominiums here is still in ruins, but at least it's calm out here. When we first arrived the day of the wild winds, we saw not only the devastation, but the fear of the people who managed to escape this building and the concern of the rescue crews for those feared still trapped inside.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you. We made it okay.
Mary Kelly limped along the boardwalk near what used to be her home at Mill Point condominiums.
And I heard the walls collapsing, so I jumped over the stairwell and down to the first floor, and the wind just took me and pushed me into the back bedroom, and kind of woke up a few minutes later and was looking for my son, who was also in the house.
She was very wet and disoriented and in shock, I think. I got her to an ambulance.
I just want to stop bleeding.
Kelly's son, Chris, has a cut on his leg. He got it when heavy winds collapsed their building in the wee hours.
And I looked up and the roof was gone. And then the whole house kind of fell over.
While you were still in it?
Yeah, I was in the closet. And we kind of tipped with everything. I thought I was going to die, to tell you the truth.
Mill Point sits along the Grand River, just west of the downtown area. The unit has 18 condos, nearly all now in rubble.
That's yours?
About 13 people rescued from this mess went to the hospital, though none had serious injuries, despite the splintered wood, broken windows, missing walls, and beams protruding through the roof. Once everyone who was supposed to be inside the condominium was accounted for, demolition on the building began. Boats near the condos took hits from Mother Nature as well.
This table here was upside down like this, and that TV was on top of it. Blew this window here right in, and so much force that it even went through there, and look at that 1/4 inch paneling there. Just unbelievable.
I was in the back end of the boat checking on things, and all of a sudden the canvases and everything started ripping off, and everything started flying. Picnic tables were flying. Wife's car, the windshield got blown out.
While less than a mile away, cleanup began in neighborhoods around downtown Spring Lake, where uprooted trees and down power lines littered streets and yards. The town is devastated, and so are the people.
Never seen anything like it. Heard a roar, hit the deck.
Wind was blowing the curtains right over our bed, and I've lived here since 1947, and this is by far the worst I've ever seen.
Now, cleanup efforts out here started immediately, despite the fact that these people had no electricity and very, very limited resources. Of course, it'll take some time before Spring Lake gets back to normal, but they all survived the storm, which is really the most important thing. Reporting live in Spring Lake, I'm Sharon North, WZZM 13 News.
All right, thank you very much, Sharon. Now, across the river from Spring Lake, the storm battered campers at Grand Haven State Park.
It toppled trees and tossed around RVs and travel trailers. Our Christine Haverly tells us how people there survived the storm.
I saw things flying in the air all over. Then people screaming.
Battered motorhomes lined the Grand Haven beach. Raging winds roared off the lake, tossing them like peanuts into each other and onto cars. The storm came fast, trapping many people in their RVs.
It just started rumbling, and we could feel it swaying, swerving, and next thing you know, we were just going over.
Shattered windows mark the storm's ferociousness. It turned campers into shambles, splitting some of them at the seams. Nancy Barnard hurt her arm fending off a falling refrigerator, but some of her things came through unscathed.
And I had 4 eggs and they never broke.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing that didn't break.
The strong winds splintered picnic tables and toppled trees. But while the big rigs are only damaged, some of the little ones are crushed. The wind flipped this trailer over 3 times before splitting it in half. And amazingly, 4 people walked out of here uninjured.
Every time I turned around, I kept thinking, I'm still alive, I'm still alive, I'm still alive. And then
Jennifer Mitchell won't soon forget trying in vain to flee the danger.
my husband was trying to open up the door to the trailer, and it couldn't because it was so windy. And we were thinking of shutting some windows or something, and then all of a sudden we just tumbled maybe 2 to 3 times.
Many campers surveyed the damage, dazed and shocked that no one was seriously injured. By late morning, crews had righted most of the trailers, but they couldn't right the damage.
My blodgett cuffs. Then blodgett is no more.
Still, the surf's up and the sun's out, and it may be a gamble to stay, but even Mother Nature's fury can't dampen the hardy spirit. Christine Haberly, WZZM 13 News.
Despite the storm, Grand Haven State Park remained open, but some parks along the lakeshore had to close so workers could come in and clean up downed trees.
Well, many of the towns between the lakeshore and Grand Rapids were damaged by the storm as well. One of the areas hardest hit was in Kent County.
Dozens